Welcome back to that handicapping show. I'm Claire Novak, joined today by Tom LaMarra. We are out at Keeneland once again, where this weekend we'll see the Coolmore Lexington, the Jenny Wiley, the Ben Ali, with a nice Saturday card. But Tom, you and I are going to take a look at the final 3-year-old prep of the season, and that would be the $1 million Arkansas Derby. Grade 1 mile and an eighth for the 3-year-olds at Oaklawn Park, wrapping up the prep series there. And that will be the second start of the season for American Pharoah, the 2-year-old champion, who came back and romped in the Rebel Stakes on a sloppy track. And the question is, can he repeat that performance to make it 4 straight victories in a row?
Well, the lengthy procession of short-priced horses in these lucrative Kentucky Derby preps comes to an end on Saturday. I'm kind of glad about that, actually. 1-2 favorite morning line for American Pharoah. It's justifiable. The short prices on many of these horses in these preps has been justifiable, and I think that they've shown that. They've either won or run second, but most of them have won. I'm not going to pick them on top. I think this might be a race where I can look for something a little bit juicier price-wise.
All right, so you and I both had Carpe Diem on top for the Bluegrass last Saturday, which was no big surprise. I am going to stick with American Pharoah here just because I do think class-wise he towers above this field. But what I would be interested in is seeing who we can play underneath to help make some additional money. So a horse that I'm looking at is Bridget's Big Lovey. But before I talk about that horse underneath, why don't you talk about who you're actually picking?
Okay. I'm going to go with Made from Lucky in this race from the Todd Pletcher stable. Ran a pretty good second behind American Pharoah in the Rebel. He was beaten more than 6 lengths, and but I have a feeling that he's improving. He's going to stretch out a little bit, an extra 1/16 of a mile, and he's got the kind of early speed where he can lay close. There's a wild card in here, as he usually is the wild card, Mr. Z, who drew inside of Made from Lucky and American Pharoah.
He gets his blinkers back.
Blinkers back on after a failed experiment in the Louisiana Derby.
That was not
He
good.
never got the lead, tracked, and dropped back. He was beaten more than 20 lengths. But I have a feeling, since he's owned by, or Mr. Z and American Pharoah have the same ownership, you know, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with him, what they're going to try with American Pharoah. You know, at 6-1 in the morning line, I think Made from Lucky, if he has it, will be in the right spot to use it.
Now, Made from Lucky, trained by Todd Pletcher, is a son of Looking at Lucky, who won the Rebel and went on to win the Preakness. So he definitely has some good bloodlines there. And I will take a look at Bridget's Big Lovey, who came and won the private terms at Laurel. And this is a horse who seemed to be asking for added ground, and when they gave it to him, he definitely delivered. He won by 2.5 lengths at Laurel in that race, going the distance. It was on a muddy track. I'm not sure his connections, Jeremiah Englehart, they're hoping that this could be a Kentucky Derby type horse, but we know he likes the distance. I'm just not sure about the class of the other horses that he beat in that race last time out. He did come to Oaklawn and breeze the bullet in preparation for this race.
That's always a good sign.
So that's a good sign. This is a Tis Wonderful runner, and I would look at him to provide a bit of a price. And you and I both actually liked Made from Lucky. I just would put him maybe third, something like that. He has won at 1 1/8 in his previous start.
Yes, and my third horse in here behind Made from Lucky and American Pharoah was Far Right. 2 for 2 at Oaklawn. He is strictly an off-the-pace type horse. I figure that he should be able to pick up the pieces, but I'll be curious to see how his late run is impacted the longer he goes.
Right.
He may be one of those horses that likes to close in sprints or mile type races. We'll find out on Saturday.
It's very interesting. His trainer Ron Maquette said that this was a horse he felt was really asking for additional ground as well, and then he felt very justified when he stretched out and won 2 in a row, going first a mile and then 1 1/16. He has not run since the Southwest Stakes, which is the grade 3 after the Smarty Jones, part of this whole Oaklawn prep series. So we'll see how he does. He's a notional runner.
But that was by design.
Yes.
Ron Maquette intentionally did this. So really, he's coming in with a slightly fresher horse than some of these. So it's going to be interesting. I would not draw a line through this horse's chances in this race.
All right, well, this race goes off around 7:18 Eastern, so keep an eye at bloodhorse.com for the recap and for all of our coverage of Keeneland. The additional stakes races on Friday, we have the Apple Blossom with Untappable, we have the Makers here at Keeneland, and also Beholder coming back. So it's a good weekend of racing, and then keep an eye for Sunday, Lady Eli in the Appellation here at Keeneland. As always, we want to say thanks to Equibase for the PPs, and thank you for watching that handicapping show.